but you can take like 2 clubs. You've just taken something much more heavy, right?
Yeah.
Well, then kind of lean into it a little bit and then let the energy go. And then you'll feel the energy like pull you back out the other end.
Okay, Craig, so let's talk about, we've talked about release, right? But let's talk about the transfer of energy into the golf ball. And we see a lot of amateur golfers get themselves into a position post-impact where they wrap themselves up like a pretzel, right? They might hit it for whatever reason, they've made poor contact, they'll come around and their arms will be over here, all bent up, body's over rotated, falling over back over their heels. And then they go, okay, well now from that position, now maybe I need to finish more up over here. But they're really focusing on something which happens at an effect to a degree by that stage, rather than a great sensation or an idea and feel that you were just giving us before we started this video of what should happen with the transfer of energy into the golf ball, right?
Yes.
We've talked about a whipping, right? We've talked
Yeah,
about an unloading, but let's elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah. So one little thing I like to do with people is I just hold this saber out in front of you, right? So hold it like 2 hands like this.
Okay.
Right? So I'm gonna put a little resistance here. Just push against me. Just little pushes with your wrist. Like just push, right? So you're able to push in my direction just with this.
Yeah.
Because you have an anchor point of your body mass basically, and then you're able to push out. If I was like holding on here and I say, Carrot, like throw me backwards, you would pull me in first. There you go. So you stepped into it, and then go ahead and push against. You kind of lean.
Yeah. If I didn't have this going, and I was really trying to
So I'm like, let's say we got to jump over a creek, and you've got to like throw me over, and then I've got to pull you over. So we both start on this side, and then you like push, and then I jump, and then I pull, right? So when somebody's transferring energy, this is what they're doing. If I had a little kid and you were just transferring a tiny bit of energy, you could easily do that through your arms and your elbows, just little pushes. But you have a 300-pound guy and you got to push him over. The really sequencing then is you kind of leaned in on your foot. So go ahead, I'll put a little more resistance. You push and then the arms extend. So what I feel like in the golf swing, so grab your club.
It's a great visual.
It's the same kind of thing in the sense that you're about to smash this golf ball, not guide it, not chicken wing it, not direct it. You're about to hammer and smash into it. So
hopefully,
if you're if you're back up in here and you're prepared for this, you're kind of coming down into the ball. You're doing that little lean in first before you then push and accelerate through. So to me, there's that load of the energy and then the unload. Well, it's an entire, elbows connected to the wrist bone, everything. So there's a full load, a full loading up, and then a full loading in, and then an unloading to acceleration through the ball. And it should happen naturally and athletically. But I think a lot of people are so tied to accuracy, they get so rigid, they get so stiff, they guide so much that they lose that natural energy. We would do it in everything else we did, jumping or pushing like this exercise. So in the golf swing, if you get to the top of your swing here, you feel like you're kind of pushing that direction, you go toward the ball, then your body's moved in this direction, your arms then accelerate, then you end up in that position.
Beautiful.
And it's all because of that flow of energy. And I feel like, yes, we're connected to the ground, but it's kind of more like upper body mass, kind of like moving first. Then after the body moves this way, then we react to the extra weight and we accelerate that way.
Okay. So let's say that you were going to then put this into effect with a player who's looking for a drill or an exercise, right? What would you get them to do?
So taking something heavy, like the saber's very heavy from the heavy end, but you can take like 2 clubs, right? Hold 2 clubs in your hand. You're gonna grip it, pull it back up. You've just taken something much more heavy, right? Well, then kind of lean into it a little bit and then let the energy go. And then you'll feel the energy like pull you back out the other end.
It does.
Especially with big, strong guys. Like, I worked with some professional baseball players And a golf club to them must feel like a little twig.
Yeah.
They're so strong, right?
Me too.
Yeah. So when you have something very light, a lot of times it's just kind of whipping all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'll have them take 2, 3, 4 clubs, saber. I've even gone down to Home Depot and got one of those big sledgehammers and said, okay, take something really, really heavy and see how your body then moves the bass. Because when you have something really heavy, your body has to become extremely efficient.
Yeah.
Like you go to these these big fairs that we have, and these guys are pounding these stakes into the ground.
Yeah.
There's like 8 guys around in a circle, and they're like, boom, boom. And that's just one stake out of 100, and they got to do it all day long. So then when you see them, they're taking that heavy sledgehammer, boom, then the next guy, boom, 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 then he goes, boom.
Yeah.
Well, the tool dictates kind of the efficiency of our motion.
Love it.
So if we have something really heavy and we learn to be efficient with our motion, then our outcomes are much better. Hogan used to say, dig it out of the dirt. I feel like he dug it out of the dirt really to the point of exhaustion. So once he was extremely exhausted and he had hit so many balls, then his body had to become extremely efficient at that movement pattern because he was tired.
Yeah.
When you're souped up and you got lots of energy, you can just whip that club all over the place. When you're feeling really tired, you know, like that saying, beware of the sick or injured golfer, that golfer is having to be so efficient with their movements because they don't know if that one swing's going to be their last swing.
Yeah.
So taking extra clubs as a drill, something heavy, moving it around really helps the athlete figure out what's efficient first.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great analogy when you talk about things like any other sport, what your body would naturally do if it was reacting to something coming towards you rather than a static ball, and also if you're moving something really heavy. And I think just having 2 golf clubs, or if you're really quite strong, 3, and just get the feeling of like, for you to move this golf club to be able to create somewhat of a structured backswing position, you almost really have to kind of feel like you shift your pressure, which allows you to free up your rotation so the golf club feels light. If I'm here where the average amateur golfer is, just vibrating with tension over the ball, and I try and move that with my arm, well, that feels so weak, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if you could just grab a couple of clubs or a great training aid like that, and then you're just feeling that you're okay, let's move this back into a position where it's almost like the body is leading the arms and the club, and we're creating this load at an effect because of that, because we're relaxed, right? And then from there, as we then come back down, I'm pushing, and then the weight of this club is really extending me and finishing tall. Yeah, you can really feel that. So then, let's say they've done that a couple of times with 2 clubs, what would they do next?
Yeah, so a lot of times when you're working heaviness, it's a great feel. So one way to do it is just to take it, flip it over, and hold it extremely lightly at this end. And then when you're feeling that flimsiness, it just helps you to kind of know, like, oh, there is an application of speed at the right time.
Yeah.
So you've got the big muscles going, which is kind of like the flow of that pushing we were doing. It's kind of like the big muscles are kind of here and the big muscles are here. But then to really push that person over, the little muscles and the hands and arms need to go pop.
Yeah.
So then what you have is you have this heaviness, and you've engaged your core, you got your big muscles kind of moving and flowing. Then you flip it over, and if you're a right-handed golfer, take it in your right hand, create that same feeling, and then pop it with the right hand. One of the great things that people need to work on for speed is doing it with both hands. So let's say I can do a whip at 100 miles an hour with my right hand, but I can only backhand at 60 miles an hour. I'm only as strong as my weakest link. So get your body, flow it in, backhand it quickly, body flow it in, forehand it quickly. Then you have the acceleration at the right time, but the acceleration of the small muscles is stacked up on top of the substance of the big muscles. So it's substance and speed.
God, that's you need to brand that, substance and speed. That was amazing. All right, mate. So I'm going to just build that feel like I'm imagining I've got this big heavy object.
Medicine
I've still
ball,
got that. Anything
something heavy.
like that. Really moving quite well there with the flow. Let's do it with a bit of speed here.
Yeah.
Fast. You can tell me if it sounds the same. Otherwise, I need to work out my left side.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Not bad, not bad. Yeah. All right, let's put it into effect with the golf ball. I feel powerful already just from doing that. Let's go.
Yeah, very good.
You know what, mate? It's probably my best of today.